Are you trying to figure out how to create the right ideal client avatar? If you're trying to figure out who you got to sell your stuff to and who's actually going to buy, then this video is for you. Welcome back. I want to help you create your ideal client avatar. This was a requested video. Every Saturday at 12 p.m. Eastern, I do a live training. And on that live training, I ask you, what would you like for me to dig deeper into on a YouTube video? And this was a requested video. So if you'd like to join me live where you're able to actually ask your questions and have that interaction with me, I do a really cool in-depth training. You can join me right here on YouTube. All you have to do is click subscribe and hit the notification bell in order to get reminded of those trainings. But I'll also email you if you're on my list. They do come every Saturday. Some Saturdays I might not do it, especially the Saturday that I'm planning on being on stage, because I am doing a bikini competition in just a couple months. But in order to know when those go live, all you have to do is subscribe and hit that notification bell. And if you're new, you definitely want to stick around if you need help with marketing and branding yourself so that you can grow your revenue and create your very own version of a lavish life. We'd love to have you stick around and become a part of the community. All you have to do is click subscribe. But what I want to help you do today is discover your ideal client avatar. Now, a lot of times this is called ICA. So if you've ever heard of someone say, you got to know your ICA, you got to know your ICA, well, this is it. I remember the first time I heard someone say, you got to know your ICA. And I was like, what's ICA? And I tried looking it up and I found like some international something association. And I was like, no, that can't be it. But ICA stands for Ideal Client Avatar. So your ideal client avatar is not your target market. It's not your target demographic. It's one single person. My ideal client avatar, her name is Benifa. And you want to first name your ideal client avatar. Choosing a name allows you to really get specific with who this one person is. The issue that I find a lot of my clients run into, a lot of you guys run into, is that what you're doing is you'll say something like, well, in general, she's a type of person who would like this or that. No. If you want to create a very solid ideal client avatar so you can market to that person, you have to get specific. And so the very first thing is to give her a name, give him a name, get very specific with who that person is and choose a name. And even the type of name that you choose. So a lot of times people will laugh when they hear that my ideal client avatar's name is Benifa, but in general, the type of clients that I work with don't always have traditional names. I mean, Letitia is not necessarily a traditional name. A lot of times the clients that I work with have non-traditional names. And so that's why I chose Benifa. I literally made that name up. I think I used to use it when I was younger as like an alter ego, but it's definitely not a name that you're typically going to hear. And it's right in line with who my ideal client is. The next piece that you need to have is that person's story. So I'll keep saying her because my ideal client avatar is a female and I won't have to keep going back and forth with him or her or there or whatever. So just keep in mind that if your ideal client is a male, you'll just swap that out, okay? So you need to give her a story. So what is Benifa's story? What brought her to this moment? What is her backstory? What is it that makes her who she is? And the easy way to do this is just like think of a couple sentences to explain her. Like my ideal client avatar is Benifa. She's, 33 years old. She has been working in her full-time job and she's now realizing that she wants to start a business as a coach. She's not quite sure where to start because even though she has years of experience in her field and people have been asking her questions and she's essentially been providing coaching for free, she doesn't quite have the confidence in her own abilities in order to get started. Not to mention that, she tried putting up a website and doing a couple things by herself here and there, but she's got pieces, but not the full picture. And that's when she meets me. So you see how you could actually visualize that person? Like as I was telling that story, I was thinking about her sitting at her desk, working on a website and being frustrated because she's like, I need paying clients. I'm tired of just giving away all this advice for free. So you gotta give that person a story, but also give them the problem, like figure out what that problem is. So you'll notice in the story, I shared that her problem was that she's been providing advice for free and she wants to start a coaching business so she can get paid, but she's not quite sure where to start. Okay. So the name, the story, and the problem, that's the very first thing to figure out when you're trying to create your ideal client avatar. The next thing to figure out is why your ideal client avatar is uniquely positioned to have the problem that you solve. So what is it that makes them special to where they're unique and that's why they have that problem? Like, why is that problem unique to them? But why are they destined to have the problem? And when you think about this, for example, a lot of my clients tend to be introverts. I'm an introvert as well. A lot of my clients are uniquely positioned to have the problem of not getting coaching clients because we don't want to put ourselves out there. We don't want to do, days and days of sales. We don't want to be on the phone all day and do sales calls all day. We don't want to do live streams every day. So we are uniquely positioned to have the problem of not being able to get coaching clients, right? So that's what you've got to figure out next for your ideal client avatar. You've already created their story and who they are, but now why are they uniquely positioned to have that problem that you can solve? What is that characteristic about them? What makes them that special so that they have that problem? Once you figure that out, then you can go into the final piece of creating your ideal client avatar, which is the opposite side of that and why you are uniquely qualified to solve the problem that they have. So they both go hand in hand. I'm uniquely qualified to help my clients with the problem of being able to get coaching clients because I'm an introvert myself and I stumbled as I tried to get coaching clients, and I discovered that a simple system was what I needed in order to bring clients in. And that was the You've Got Clients system. So side note, if you would like a client gaining system and you're trying to figure it out and piece it together, you definitely want to check out You've Got Clients. You can go to you'vegotclients.com in order to get more details. And when you're there, definitely sign up for the free training where I show you how this system turned $10,000 into $100,000. It's done a lot more since then, and there's lots of client results on that page, but definitely check out the free training because I walk you through it step by step. So I know that I'm uniquely qualified to solve this problem for my ideal client, and that means that's what makes that person my ideal client. So your ideal client avatar has two sides. The first side, obviously after you have the name, the story, and the problem, the first side is why they're unique and why they have that problem. And the second side is why you're unique to be able to solve the problem. I first learned about this from one of my mentors, Colin Terrio. He runs a really, really good group on Facebook called The Cult of Copy. He's an amazing copywriter. I've learned a lot from him, purchased a lot of his products and trainings. And he had this one training called Lock and Key Avatars. And if you can get your hands on that training, it's gonna really, really help you tremendously because that was a training where I discovered, okay, how do we create this persona for this ideal client avatar? So I really, really enjoyed that training and it definitely has helped me to speak more clearly to my ideal client. What are other questions you have about creating your ideal client avatar? Do you have a target market and a target demographic? Before you answer, let me just explain the difference between an ideal client avatar and a target market or a target demographic. A target demographic is much more general and much more broad. And it's going to be something like, in general, my clients are between the ages of 18 to 25. And in general, they're female. And in general, they work as nurses. And that's a very general, and that's the target demographic. Now, choosing your target market will help you niche down. Like, for example, my target market is coaches. But I mean, that's pretty broad, right? My target market is coaches who need help with marketing. Okay, that's a little bit better, but it's still relatively broad. My target market is coaches with experience in their field, but new to coaching who want to start a coaching business. All right, now we're getting a little bit more specific. My target market is women age 35 to 45 who want to start their coaching business, who have experience in their field, but they're just getting started. All right, that's a little bit more specific. So that's that's an example of a target market, a target demographic. But when I want to start creating marketing messaging, I want to speak to an ideal client avatar. So your target market is going to give you in general where you should focus your ad money, what podcasts you should be on, what magazines you need to, write for. That's going to give you an idea in general of like where your group is hanging out. But when it's time to actually speak to that ideal client, that ideal buyer, you've got to have a clear marketing message. And without an ideal client avatar, your marketing message will not be clear. You might say something like, well, in general, this works well for fitness coaches, but this piece actually worked better for sales coaches, something like that. Whereas if I can specifically say like, hey, this is you, it just makes a much clearer marketing message. So that's the difference. And that's why you need to have one and the other, but know when to use them. Did you know about ideal client avatar versus target market? Which one do you have right now? Comment below. Let's get the conversation started. And in the meantime, I'll see you guys in the next one. Okay, bye.